Hi everyone, my name is Matt. Welcome to my shop. Today is May 12th and this is my weekly shop update. So last week I posted the first video about the tea chest that I'm building. If you haven't checked that out already, I encourage you to take a look at that. That goes over the design and so the planning side of things. So if you haven't taken a look at that already, I encourage you to take a look. So far it's going well. I did have one major change to the plan since filming that video. I did find out that the tea packets that my friend who asked me to build this is planning on using is actually, the logo or the print is actually this way, so the tea packets are, I guess, longwise instead of being tall. So that worked out alright because I hadn't cut anything yet, so all I have to do was rotate the design 90 degrees, so it's just longer now than it was before. So as far as the progress on the tea chest goes, I have it here on the bench. Let me spin the camera around so I can give you guys a look at the progress I've made so far. So far I've just cut one of the joints, as you can see here. It's a mitered through dovetail. And that's going to be on all the corners. Just to give you an idea, I'll have the side here, and then the main top piece will come on like that. And then, as I mentioned, the videos, the design videos, I'll have a second drawer here, a divider, and then another drawer down here, and then the final divider on the bottom. The other thing I have behind this is the top. So this will be dovetailed together, and that'll make my top piece, and then I will put a panel in the middle. Speaking of that, I also got the hardware today. You can see that here from Horton Brasses. So yeah, I got the little, this is their little box hinges. And I also got the poles for the drawer. So these are their 1/2-inch poles. And since I did mention it a lot in the design video, let's take a look at the front piece here. You can see I've cut all the pieces out of this one board so that when the box is put together, all the grain flows together. You can kind of see this, I guess it was kind of like a little baby knot here, but the grain kind of comes down into this next board. So it does look like it was together at one point in time. So it's just those little details like that we can put into our work that just kind of shows that we spent a little more time and care planning out our project. And really, it doesn't take that much more time to do it this way, and I think the results speak for themselves. So over here on the Secretariat Desk this week, I cut the valance material for all the valances, and I started shaping just the first 3 of them here. But I'm pretty happy I got them all cut from the same board, so the grain does flow between all the different valances. I am waiting to finalize the installation of the valances, or at least I'm not rushing too much. The valances get installed with the desk flipped completely upside down, and the other thing that has to be installed at that point are the legs, or the feet. So I'm waiting to do that all at once. I did cut the pattern for the feet this week. I got that made up right here. So here's the foot pattern. This is what I'll derive all my feet from. And speaking of that, I also milled up the stock for the legs, or sorry, for the feet. I got this piece right here. This is going to give me all the feet. And something interesting with this is I didn't have any 8/4 that would match this cherry. So this was a piece of 12/4 that I had that didn't look like it was going to be great for much. So I resawed it and just took this piece off, and that gave me a nice piece of 8/4. Once I get my feet all made, I'll be able to flip my desk upside down and install my feet and my valances at the same time. One of the things I talked about last week was the layout of my prospect box, and I spent some time and I kind of made some decisions here. I am going to install 2 drawers that are at the same, basically at the same height as the dividers here for these drawers, so they'll kind of flow all the way through. But I'll have 2 drawers on the bottom, and then this upper area will be divided in half, and it'll have a valance just like these ones back here. Also last week I had mentioned about if I had added drawers, I would need to add some kind of offset so that the drawers will clear the barrels of the hinges. So all I did there is I just glued in a piece of 1/4 inch material along the side there, and you can also see I have the mortises already cut for the hinges. I also have the stock here that's going to make up the front molding that'll go on the front of the box, and that'll basically act as a stop, so when you push the box into the opening, the molding will extend past the box and contact this this vertical divider here. So the other big thing here this week for me is I got the shed doors hung on the shed. I spent most of Sunday working on that. I got the rail drilled out and mounted to the shed, and I got the brackets mounted to the doors. I do have to spend some time finishing up the hardware still. I have to cut to length the rail. I still have it long, and I also have the hangers long as well. And I also have to do some kind of finish on that. I did experiment a little bit with cleaning up that stainless steel. I didn't really want to go for a mirror finish on the stainless. I kind of wanted a nice matte type of look. To achieve that, all I did is I hit it with my sander with 180 grit sandpaper, and that got rid of all the surface grime. And then I took it to my buffing wheel and my grinder and kind of buff it out a little bit. And I think I'm pretty happy with that finish. It's not too shiny, but it's not too flat either. The really cool thing about that hardware is how effortlessly those doors move. I know how heavy those doors are because I hung them. I had to pick those up. I had to put them up on the rail, and I know how heavy they are. Once you get them on the rail, they're just one little finger, and they just roll. They're just good. Or I was really careful with the way that I leveled the rail, because if I had the rail, off level to one way or the other, the doors would just roll in that direction. So the rail is, I think it's perfectly level. I don't know, we'll see. But close enough. So yeah, with a finger, you can just open those doors and they just roll. The other thing I did is I spent some time to calculate exactly where the doors need to stop, or where I need to put the stops for the doors. Those are just a piece of angle iron that I cut off and I drilled a hole in, and those would go right where the bolts are that anchor the rail into the shed. So I had to spend a little time calculating exactly those placements, but I think I nailed it. Luckily enough. The stops are in great spots. The doors close and they come right into contact in the middle, and then they open just past the frame and stop on the outsides. So getting those doors up there and being able to move them for the first time was really just a really joyful experience for me. I'm really happy with the way they've turned out so far, and I just have this sense of pride and accomplishment in being able to do something like that. Another quick update: this weekend was Mother's Day, and my mother-in-law was in town, and we spent some time in the shop together. We built a small box for her planters. I promised her I'd talk about it today, and I promised her I'd put up a picture of it, of what we did together. So here's a picture of it. It's actually made out of some scrap pine that I had that was actually given to me by her. It is the old trim out of her house. So I thought that was kind of a funny sentimental way to use that lumber. But it's returned to her house in a different form. I think it turned out really well. It was a quick project, and I think she enjoyed it. Well, who knows? Maybe she'll comment and let us know how much she enjoyed her time in the shop. So that's all for me for this week. I'd like to say welcome to all my new subscribers, and I'd like to say thank you to everyone who posted a comment last week. I really appreciate those. As always, if you guys have any questions or comments for me about anything I talked about today or anything here in my shop, please leave me a comment. Like I said, I always appreciate those. And as always, until next week, happy woodworking.